Hi everyone, welcome to Creative Stampin' Designs. My name is Karen. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Central New Jersey. If you're hopping on, whether you're live or watching the replay, just let me know where you're watching from. I'm just going to see how straight I am today. Oh, a little straighter. All right. We're going to get started. Hi, Kiko. Thanks for joining. I am using the Dainty Delight. I think it's still a bundle. In the it's from the annual catalog, and I also used the Lazy Day, one of the dies from the Lazy Day dies, and I am going to be using the Nested Essential dies. These here, they don't go with a stamp set or anything. They're just on their own in the back of the catalog. I am going to get started, and I'm doing something a little different today than it's the first time I'm actually doing. I did practice a little just to make sure I had my measurements right. All right, so I am starting with a panel of thick basic white cardstock, right? And it's 8.5 by 5.5. And hi, Catherine, thank you for joining. And I scored it at 4 1/4. I'm just folding it in half. And it's not really a fancy fold. It's, well, I guess it is. I forgot to get my ink out. I'm just trying to stick to a couple colors and having trouble doing that. Just get a piece of scrap paper. Stick it underneath. All right, and I'm going to, along the bottom, just stamp the grass image, the grass and flower image, and I'm just going to stamp it along the bottom, and it doesn't really matter if it's super straight. It's just, I just felt it needed it, and if I feel like coloring flowers later, I will, but for now, we're just leaving it all green. All right, let me close this up before I stick my hand in it. And that was, I used lemon lime twist for that. All right, now, get my trimmer. And I've been seeing a lot of the Trellis cards, but I'm doing it different. All right, so I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to cut 1/2-inch strips from the front. This is the only part I didn't cut or do ahead. I die cut a whole bunch of things because I wasn't sure how long this part's going to take me. It's sticking, sorry. So I'm just cutting, I'm going to cut, I believe it was 6 1/2-inch strips from the front. Okay, we're going to start again, because that was a 3/4-inch strip. I wasn't paying attention when I cut it. Try this one more time. That's what happens when you're talking and cutting at the same time. All right. I'm going to just stamp this all over again. And I'm going to be sure to cut 1/2-inch strips this time. I should have made a mark right on my trimmer, so I was sure to cut them all 1/2-inch. So I am going, like I said, I'm going to cut 6 of these. And one more. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fold this again, give it a little bit of a burnish. Hi Barbara, thanks for joining. This is actually the first time, Catherine, I'm playing with these dies. I had them out yesterday and they didn't work with what I wanted to do, so I didn't use them. All right, now to help myself here, I am going to have a block, all right, and you want to use your grid paper for this. I found that very helpful. And I'm just going to line these up. Excuse me. Make sure they're everything's lined up. And after I got to I think it was after I had 2 on here, that's when I started using the block just to hold them in place. Okay. And you want to make sure, obviously, they're straight, since this is your card front. Excuse me. And the last one should fit right on the edge here. All right. So now, even though these 2 are marked, I'm going to flip them over because I'm going to be cutting some off. Excuse me. All right, and I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to, okay, just going to put little dots of glue. And I don't want to go too far up, even though I have a lot of stuff that's going to block it. I need to make sure this is straight too. Okay, so we have that one down there. And this one up here must have been something on my block, and I got it on the paper. This one I'm going a little higher, and I'll explain once there it goes. Once I start decorating it a little more. Okay, so this one, did I go over 2 lines? So I'm trying to keep it all very consistent. Again, you really won't see these. And I did cut an extra piece from Basic White just to put through the the center. So I'm just going to get it centered the best I can. There we go. Okay. I put my block away. I need my liquid glue, so I am going to be using it. And then all we're going to do is trim off the extra. So that is the card front. Now we're going to decorate. So I already, like I said, I pre-cut a lot of things. So these are from the Dainty Delight dies. And I'm just going to adhere one up top here. And you just have to, I'm going to trim off the extra so I know there's going to be a little bit of extra. It's just the only thing that's hard is you need to watch where you're putting the glue. So I put it on those two leaves. So those can go right there. Okay, and I'm just going to put it on this end also. I have other things that are going to hold. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to be full of glue by the time we're done here. Oh, I put on, no, I was say, why isn't it holding? Okay, I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to try to get glue underneath. I'm actually not even going to cut it yet. All right, then I pre-cut. Now, the leaves, sorry, I didn't tell you. The leaves are in Lemon Lime Twist, which I never liked Lemon Lime Twist, and all of a sudden, I'm liking the color. I cut, where's the die? This die from the Lazy Days, so it's the porch top, but I only cut a piece that's 4 1/4 inches, the size of the card front. And I'm just going to put it across the top, and I was really smart this time. I put the adhesive strip on it before I cut it, because I looked at all these little pieces and all I could think of is I was going to be covered with glue. So we're just going to put this right across the top. Just like that. Give it a good press from this. Oh, I can't even press it from that side. Oh, hang on. There's my scrap paper. I don't want to mess up the little trellises. And it's not sticky, or the little bit here, I must have had it right in the center. Okay. Excuse me. Then I cut from the Dainty Delight dies? Yes, sorry. I cut 5 of these to make it, I think it's wisteria. I think that's what it is. I can't remember what it's called now. I knew it before I started. And I actually already, because I put little pieces of, I don't know if you could see them, little tiny pieces of Stampin' Dimensionals. I sat and I cut them all, and I got them on ahead of time. And I'm just going to hang them right on each of the slots. This is going to drive me crazy, these little pieces. When you're picking up little papers, usually I use my little pokey tool thing. to take these off. That was a really skinny one. All the measurements for every, oh, this one moved. All the measurements will be on my blog on Friday. Hang on, one of my dimensionals moved. There we go. Actually, I need it up higher. Oh my goodness, sorry. See, I thought I was being good having all this done ahead of time. It was until they moved. And I'm not looking up, so if anybody's leaving comments, I will go back. And answer any comments or questions. That one moved. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. And I was actually inspired to use this all of a sudden in my backyard. Can't find the dimensional here. It's growing like a vine across from my neighbor's yard into my yard, and it looks so pretty. And that's kind of what gave me the inspiration when I was outside. I'm going to do a card with that on it. All right, and this one can go up higher. There we go. Hi, Tara. Thanks for joining. It's okay. No worries. All right. Just get these all out of here. All right. Then I do have a couple more. And again, I'm going to be trimming. Actually, let me trim the top right now since I have all that on. And everything's glued down. Okay. And I have, whoops, 2 more of these that I'm going to adhere. So we're going to put it on these leaves here. And then once it's on, I will I could trim it down. Or I can not trim it down. I can glue other places if I need it. All right, and I'm going to put the other one just like that, overlapping a little bit. And we got these. And again, I had this put together the way I liked it before. I need to learn how to take a picture that I can look at when I'm live. All right, we're just gonna, gotta twist it a little bit. That should be good. Okay, and those are going to really be held in place. I have the daisies to put on it. This one needs to come up just a little. Daisies will hold it in place though. And I did already cut all the daisies. I cut all the centers in Lemon Lolly, and I glued them on. I used a glue dot. I didn't think you would want to sit here watching me with all the glue dots and everything. I'm having enough hassle here putting these. So I have most of them. are, I think I have little Stampin' dimensionals on these, and I usually use the half dimensionals, but the mini dimensionals fit perfect inside. Whoops, I don't know where that one came from. Alright, well, that's where it's stuck, that's where it's staying. I don't even know how many I put on already, 2. And we'll put this one right here, I think. Oh, that's where it's going, it's stuck already. I'll put another one down here because I want to put this sentiment right there. And then we're just going to trim off the excess again. Yeah, I'm going to put a little dot of glue here to hold this one, and then I'm going to trim it once the glue's dry. I'm going to give it a minute to dry. I don't want it to rip, so let me just, I'll do the sentiment, I'll trim this once that glue dries a little bit. Alright, and then I have the panel of basic white that I had cut all my daisies from, so I'm using the same piece. And I'm just stamping Celebrate You. And I'm just using Tuxedo Black because none of these colors, I didn't want to stamp with those. And I forgot to check to make sure the paper was big enough. I made sure the die fit on the sentiment. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. But I never thought to check the paper. If not, I get another piece out. I'm getting another piece anyway because the black went on the where I didn't want it. That's big enough, yeah. There we go. And I'm just going to die cut the sentiment real quick. I'll be right back. I just have a little rectangle, and I'm just gonna pop this up too, but I am going to put the dimensionals on here. Actually, I'm going to put it this way. Make sure where I'm going. Again, because I need to make sure that this is under under the sentiment. So that's going to be perfect. even got it straight. All right. And then I have, what better than butterflies to use? Seemed like a perfect choice. And you know what, we're going to put, whoops, a couple more by the daisies. All right, get the inside done. A panel of basic white. And the sentiment. And actually, I am going to stamp the larger floral design from Dainty Delight on the side of this. Make sure it's good and inked up. I'm just going to stamp it right. I want my scrap paper underneath. I do not like black ink. I make a mess with black. Okay. And then I'm just going to stamp the sentiment and hope that I get it straight now that I already stamped the flower. Okay, looks straight to me. I'm just going to color the flowers in real quick and the leaves. And I have my lemon lime twist again. And I'm like barely touching because these are really small areas to color. So I'm barely touching with the brush end. I like to use the bullet end for most of my coloring, but I save the brush end for real fine things because then I can get into those little corners and hopefully not smear it outside the lines. I don't know if anybody has orders that you've placed, but I believe the last I heard, Stampin' Up! Was still like 6 to 10 days behind. So they're getting a little better. Right. I have my light bubble bath. I made a card last night too, and I used the bubble bath. I seem to be really liking this pink. Very soft, pretty pink. And I also have the dark bubble bath. And I'm going to actually use the brush for these because they're so tiny. I'm just kind of, actually I'm really just dotting this. So I'm, again, barely touching it. And, all right, and then I just wanted my fresh freesia, which of course I did forget to take out. Well, I'm not using that tip. That one got a little messed up. So I'm just going to very gently dot it with the bullet. All right, I'm going to adhere this as soon as I find my Stampin' seal. Okay. Oops, I got it. To a bubble bath mat. And then we're going to adhere this inside the card. And then I got to trim that bottom off. This is the only part I really like to use liquid glue here, but when I'm using white, I tend to use the Stampin' seal. Give this a little trim. And again, if you did leave comments, I will go back to see if there's any questions, read them, and respond. Okay, and the envelope, I did stamp the front and color it already. I'm just going to stamp the top of the flower thing. I'm not going to color it live. I'll do this afterwards. Just going to stamp this on the envelope flap. And I will go back and color it when I'm done. But that's it. That's the card for today. Like I said, it's not really a fun fold card, but it's different. It was a kind of fancy fold, I guess you could call it. All right. Like I said, all the measurements and directions will be on my blog on Friday, along with a link to my YouTube and Facebook video. And if you do make this, just post it on my Facebook page on the under the comments, which will go live on Friday also, because I like to see what everybody makes. Okay, thank you everyone for joining, and I plan on being back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.